Wonderful to have you all here. This movie hits cinemas, exclusively in cinemas, on the 2nd of June. Now, as anyone who's been to one of these before knows, here is your regulation housekeeping, but it is very important, so listen up. Disney takes piracy very seriously, so please do. Put your phones in the bags provided once the movie starts. Security will be monitoring, doing all that stuff that security do. Also, this is one of the best screens in London, and if you film it on your phone, put it online, it looks rubbish, so just don't. Yeah. We good? Yeah. Of course we are. Of course we are. That said, before and indeed after the movie, feel free to get on social media and give us your reaction to the film. Everyone's very excited to know what you guys think. Please do tag at 20th Century UK and use the hashtag #TheBoogeyman. Right then, with that in mind, I'm very excited to be able to introduce a very special person to this stage right now. He is the man who has brought this movie to the big screen. Please raise the roof of the IMAX Leicester Square and welcome the director of The Boogeyman, the brilliant Rob Savage!
It's very cool.
It's cool, huh? It's cool. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
So, let's start with the fact this is based on the terrifying story by Stephen King. Now, am I right in thinking Stephen King is a fan of this movie?
Yeah, so this is one of the stories that really fucked me up as a kid. So when I found out I was going to have the opportunity to direct this, I was intimidated. And we showed this movie to Stephen King at the end of last year. He was in, we rented out his favourite cinema in Maine. He went there with a bucket of popcorn, and I had somebody from 20th sitting in the back row live tweeting his entire thing. Stephen King just jumped. Stephen King laughed at this joke. And he came out and he sent us the loveliest message saying this is a scary fucking movie and I loved it, and they would be idiots to not put this on the big screen. This was meant to be a streaming movie, and with Stephen King's help, it ended up here on the biggest screen in the world.
So everyone here is here pretty much because of Stephen King.
Because of Stephen King.
You're welcome. What does it feel like for you actually seeing this movie being released in cinemas? How important is it for you as a horror director, as the director of The Boogeyman? What does it mean to you?
It means the world. We made this movie, even though this movie was meant to be going on the small screen, we made it with the big screen in mind. We made it with an experience like this in mind. So it's amazing that you guys can see it here on what is probably the best screen in London with a huge crowd of people. And hopefully, you know, everyone gives a raucous response and screams and passes out and all that good stuff.
That's a green light to passing out. If you wish to
Please.
pass out, you can. So, rather than me introduce it, I think it's only right with you here to introduce this movie to our audience this evening.
Well, yeah, let me just ask, so who here gets easily freaked out by horror movies? Put your hand up. Okay, you guys are fucked. This movie's gonna mess you up. So every year they do this scientific experiment where they rig people up to heart monitors and other things, and they show them a bunch of horror movies and measure their fear response, and they come up with 10 movies, the 10 scariest movies of all time, according to science. So the last 2 movies that I made are both on this list. I got one at number 8, this movie I made called Dashcam, and then there's another movie that I made called Host, which currently sits at number 1. It's the scariest movie of all time, according to medical science. But here's the thing, those guys haven't seen The Boogeyman yet, and I think this movie is scarier than both of those. So again, anyone wants to scream, pass out or vomit, it's all great publicity for us. Please feel free. Most of all, have a great time. Please spread the word about this movie. And see you on the other side. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for the director of The Boogeyman, Rob Savage!